pleasure as president of Hampton University to welcome all of you to this very historic campus. Mrs. Hurry and I want to give a very special welcome, and we just gave a kiss, to First Lady Michelle Obama. Hampton University is an extraordinary place with extraordinary students, faculty, staff, alumni, and accomplishments. Let me name just two. Hampton University is the home of the $225 million proton beam cancer treatment center. It's the largest in the world. We have 100% control of a national space mission with the launching of a $120 million weather satellite. And because of successes such as these, we are accustomed to receiving extraordinary visitors. A total of 10 United States presidents have visited Hampton, including our current extraordinary president, Barack Obama. I have had the distinct pleasure of introducing President Obama 4 times. The first was a gathering in our home in 2007 at the Hampton University Ministers Conference, at a campaign stop in 2008, and as our commencement speaker in 2010. Now I want to tell you, the circle is complete. Hampton University has the very good fortune of welcoming an extraordinary First Lady in Mrs. Michelle Obama. I want you to know that my wife and I admire her for a number of reasons, including the fact that she is a terrific role model as a mother, as a wife, as a professional, and as an extraordinary First Lady. We welcome Mrs. Obama and extend an invitation for her to return with Sasha and Malia so that they too can enjoy the beauty, the history, and heritage of Hampton, Virginia, and Hampton University. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here today. And before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment, and just say, how are you? Oh, you can't hear me? I just said thank you so much, and I'm so thrilled to be here today. Are you excited? All right. Okay. Well, before we get started, my portion of the veteran. I am DMC retired. That's Chief Guns Mate Chief Eric Renfield. I almost forgot my name because I'm nervous I am for y'all tell. But I am excited. I am thrilled. Okay, so please take a moment if y'all want to join in with me and do the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. We stand for a moment with that. Everybody remember it? All right, here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are we fired up? Yes, and ready to go. Ready to go. Yes. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Kaine. I'm the pastor of the Church of New York. It is a pleasure to be here this afternoon. I am here to give the invitation. May we all just take a moment, please, to bow our heads for a moment of prayer. God, we honor and thank you for your presence today. We thank you for the traveling mercies that you have given to all of us. Before we ask of anything of ourselves, we first ask that you would bless, keep, and strengthen those who have been impacted by Hurricane Sandy. Help us to be reminded of how blessed we are just to be alive. God, we also ask that you would bless our elected officials at the federal, state, and local levels for their decisions and thoughts to be about the people, and not about partisan politics. God, protect our armed forces and police officers who protect and defend our freedom, both domestically and abroad. Finally, God, bless the first family of our United States. Keep them in your care. Protect them from such negativity and criticism that has stemmed from this election. Allow them to continue to walk in integrity, knowing that you will provide their every need. Bless our time here today, that we leave encouraged and inspired to go to the polls on Tuesday and make decisions that will keep our country moving in the right direction. We pray for one nation under you, not a Republican or Democratic nation, not a black or white nation, not a rich or poor nation, but one nation that you lead and guide us. We ask all of this now in the name of the God that we individually serve, which for me personally is Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's burning me up.
That light, man.
Yeah, man.
He's working on it.
Can you see by the dawn's
where my dad was the general manager for an automotive tooling company, one of the main suppliers for Chrysler. And in 2007, when the automotive industry crashed, my family lost everything we had built. My dad lost his job, we lost our home, and my mother was forced to sell her wedding ring so that I could stay in school. It's okay though, because when President Obama was running, he promised to save the automotive industry and help all the middle-class families like mine. And he did. He kept his promise, and my dad got his job at the very same company. So, when I graduated college in May 2011, I joined the campaign as soon as I possibly could. And I've been organizing ever since. And now, with just 4 days left until the election, all the progress that we've made is on the line. And Virginia could make the decision in this election. So these last 4 days are the most important ones for this campaign. This is when we show the true part of the Obama campaign, when all of this energy and compassion turns into action. We need you to volunteer. We need you to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to take 4 hours for 4 more years. So I look forward to seeing all of you out in full force, and let's win this thing.
Let's go for Tim Kaine.
It is?
Hello, Hampton.
So there's Governor Tim Kaine.
I'm Ann Holton, the former First Lady of Virginia, and I am so proud to be with you all today to support our great president. And my husband, Tim Kaine, who is running for the United States Senate. It is such an honor to be here today with a woman that I deeply admire.
First Lady, Michelle Obama. I first met Michelle while Tim was governor, just after she and then Senator Obama had entered the presidential race. We did not talk about life on the campaign trail. We talked about our kids. She knew that when I was a child, my dad, as a Republican governor, had put our family in the spotlight as we helped him and Virginia move forward to integrate our public schools. She knew also that Tim and I were raising our own 3 teenagers. Our advice was simple: keep their lives as normal as possible and help them understand it can be fun and an honor to be part of their parents' public service. But I was so impressed that this was uppermost in her mind. Virginia has come a long way since my childhood. Politically, we've moved from solid red to purple, and now we're one of the most critical battlegrounds in the race for the Senate and the White House. But we all know that the races here in Virginia are going to be extremely close. And I'm here to ask you to do everything you can over the next few days to bring us to victory. Outside groups have spent tens of millions of dollars on false negative ads in Virginia, and they show no signs of letting up. But your support and hard work will prove on November 6th that the number of zeros at the end of a check cannot determine our election. All right! This year, we have seen what can happen when those in Washington refuse to even come to the table to find solutions that will improve our economy and help create jobs. They can learn something from my husband Tim, who's an incredible listener and has proven throughout his career in public service that if we can work together and focus on results, we can benefit all of us. As a city councilman, as Richmond's mayor, and as our governor, Tim worked across divides with members of both parties to make Virginia one of the best places to do business and to raise a child. As governor, he worked across the aisle with Republicans to pass the largest higher education construction bond package in the Commonwealth's history. That $1 billion plus investment he made in universities and schools all across the Commonwealth put 25,000 people to work in new construction projects right away. But it did something else too. It made our institutions of higher education stronger, more sophisticated, better equipped to train our citizens with the skills that will get them good paying, career building jobs. That's what Tim does. He works together to get results, to create jobs and opportunities, and to strengthen our middle class. And that's exactly what our president has done for the last 4 years. And that's why we need to re-elect him and send not husband Tim to Washington to work with him in the United States. So, it's critical that in these last few days, you all continue to work hard. We are counting on you to volunteer, to make a few more phone calls, knock on a few more doors, because your work, your dedication, and ultimately your votes will be what drive us to victory. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great day. Settlement in America. We just celebrated our 400th birthday. And yesterday,
we celebrated the first anniversary of Hampton Sportman Road National Monument. On November 1st, 2011, President Obama used his executive authority under the Antiquities Act to preserve and protect Sportman Road in perpetuity. The city is eternally grateful to the President for his leadership in bringing together people from both sides of the aisle to serve in the spirit of the greater good. This is what great leaders do. They find common ground, move forward, and get things done. The President demonstrated these abilities over the last 4 years, and most recently with his response to Hurricane Sandy. We are delighted to welcome First Lady Michelle Obama to our community. We hope she will enjoy her visit to our great city, and I want you to give her a great Hampton welcome.
Tim Kaine for Senate. Ready to welcome the First Lady of the United States. Is the 47% ready to vote? The Hurricane Sandy made a whole lot of people more than 47%. Didn't think they were more than 47%. 4 years ago, we knew that if we carried Virginia, we could win. This year, all the experts are saying this election is going to come down to 2 states, Ohio and Virginia. And we knew what we did 4 years ago. We can re-elect the President of the United States. I guess all my good friend Paul Hirschfield will be here. Vote for Paul Hirschfield! Now, 4 years ago, we won Virginia, we carried the nation, and those votes made a difference. The first bill that the President signed was the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. That's what we Then he saved the economy. They keep talking about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we lost over 500,000 jobs in the month of November, over 500,000. This morning, we gained over 170,000 jobs. We know that the President saved the auto industry. His opponent doesn't know what he did. And we know we're going in the right direction. We don't want to go back. We want to re-elect the President so we can continue going in the direction we're going in. The President has helped veterans in health and mental health. And we got Fort Monroe as the national monument because of the President of the United States. The President appointed 2 good Supreme Court justices, Sonia Montoya and Ellen Kagan, and they voted to sustain health care reform. Health care reform is responsible for those up to 26 to stand the current policies. Pre-existing conditions can get insurance, no insurance abuses, foreclosure is done on home, free checkups, no co-pays deductible, more support for community health centers, and in 2014, all Americans will be able to
voucher, you don't need a voucher. Even those over 55 are going to be paying more, about $50 a month more. Under 55, about $500 a month more. They say conservative. Medicare today is offered for 12 years. Under that plan, it goes open 4 years. They're not preserving anything. They need to leave Medicare alone. You've been paying for Medicare. You deserve your Medicare. And when we elect Barack Obama, we're going to get that Medicare. It's only going to be possible if we vote like we did 4 years ago. And if we vote like we did 4 years ago, we will know by 11 o'clock on election night that we have elected the United States Senator Tim Kaine in Virginia. And Democrats all over Virginia have been elected. And we, at 11 o'clock tonight, because we carry Virginia, will be re-electing the President of the United States of America.
They can't get no air. They're gonna be a lot more famous.
Oh, she's with the people. That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Got you again. So got him again.
A sophomore political science major from Hampton University, and an organizing fellow for this campaign. I support President Obama for so many reasons, but the main one is simple.
We can trust that he's always looking out for us, especially us young people. President Obama knows that the key to a good future is a good education. That's why he's making education a national priority. He knows that a higher education can't be a luxury for only a few. To make it today, a higher education is an economic imperative that every American should be able to afford. That's why he reformed the student loan system. It's why he fought to increase grants for college students and created a tax credit that could potentially save our families up to $10,000 over 4 years on college tuition. And because President Obama has had our backs, we've got to have his. There are only 4 days left until Election Day. That's right, 4. 4 days left to make our mark on history. During my time in the campaign, I have seen how we all can do just that. These last few months, working alongside other diligent volunteers, while at times exhausting, have been the most rewarding of my life. I recognize the importance of representing a cause far greater than myself, and I saw that together, we are truly capable of making a difference and moving our country forward. But moving forward doesn't happen on its own. We've got to step up. We've got to get involved. So before you leave today, make sure you sign up with one of our volunteers to knock on doors and get us to vote this weekend for on Election Day. Grassroots energy has always driven President Obama's campaign, and that's something our guest of honor has seen since the very beginning. During this year's Democratic National Convention, Michelle Obama stated, "Serving as your First Lady is an honor and a privilege." And now, it is my opportunity to say, a privilege and my greatest pleasure to introduce to you all my style and professional icon, our First Lady.
In light of what's been going on around the country along the East Coast, I wanted to take a moment to just talk about the devastating storm that's affected so many of our communities, including so many right here in the state of Virginia. And like all of you, Barack and I, we are heartbroken for all those who have lost loved ones in the storm. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone who has been affected. And as you all have seen, Barack has been working tirelessly to ensure that our governors, our mayors, and our outstanding first responders have everything they need to do their jobs. But the thing in times of crisis that we have to remember, what I talk to my kids about, what we see is that we always keep coming together, and working together to help our fellow citizens as they begin to recover and rebuild. And we do this as one American family. And I know that we will all continue to keep them in our prayers and hope for people to be able to get back to their lives as normal. So wanted to say that, because even in light of all this, we can't forget what's happening on the ground, right? But I also want to thank Amber. We didn't get a complete introduction of Amber, but Amber, who just came out and did that very kind introduction, she is working so hard for this campaign. So let's give Amber a And I want to thank Hampton's president, President Harvey, for his leadership, and your First Lady as well, Mrs. Harvey. I want to thank them for hosting us here today. Thank you so much. As I said, I'm hoping to be back here for one day for a commencement. last 4 years. I want to recognize your fabulous former First Lady and my dear friend Ann Holden, who we know her husband, Governor Tim Kaine, is going to make an outstanding senator for this state. So we got to make some calls to make sure that happens. But most of all, I want to thank all of you. All of you, thank you for coming. Such a decent, honest man. A man whose courage and integrity, did you hear me? Courage and integrity. We have seen every day for the last 4 years. The man that I have known and loved for 23 years. My husband. And let me tell you something. All that I just talked about, I love him for that. But what really made me fall in love with my husband all those years ago was his character. You know, I want all the fellas to hear that. It was the women fellas in here. You know? It was his compassion, his conviction, his commitment throughout his career to helping others. But I also loved that Barack was also so devoted to his family, especially the women in his life. Do you hear me, fellas? How do you treat the women in your life? It's important. See, I saw the respect that he had for his mother. I saw how proud he was that she put herself through school and still did what she had to do to support him and his sister as a single mom. I saw the tenderness he felt for his grandmother, and how grateful he was that long after she should have retired, she was still getting up every day, catching that bus to her job at the bank, waking up every morning. And he watched as she was passed over for promotion simply because she was a woman. But he also saw how she kept on getting up every day, doing that same job year after year without complaint or regret. See, with Barack, I found a real connection, because in his life story, I saw so much of my own. See, because growing up on the south side of Chicago, I watched my father make that same uncomplaining journey every day to his job at the city water plant. And I saw my father, who had MS, get up every day on crutches and carry himself with that same pride, that same dignity that you get when you can provide for your family, that same hope that his kids would one day have opportunities he never dreamed of. Yeah. See, and the beauty about our families and so many families in this country is that they just weren't asking for much. You know, they didn't want much, and they didn't mind if others had much more than they did. In fact, they admired it, which is why they pushed us to be the best that we can be. But they simply believed in that fundamental American promise that even if you don't start out with much, if you work hard, if you do what you're supposed to do, then you should be able to build a decent life for yourself and an even better life for your kids and your grandkids. And here's something they believed and they taught us, that when you work hard, and I know we got a lot of young people out there working hard, and when you've done well, and you finally walked through that doorway of opportunity, you don't slam it shut behind you. You reach back and you give other folks the same chances that help you succeed. And that's how Barack and I know so many of you were raised. And more than anything else, that is what this election is all about. It's a choice. It's a choice about our values, our hopes, and our aspirations. It's a choice about the America we want to leave for our kids and our grandkids. Now, what does that America look like? Well, we believe in an America where every child has an opportunity to go to good schools that push them and inspire them and prepare them for jobs of the future. We believe in an America where no one goes broke or loses their home because someone gets sick or loses their job. We believe in an America where we all understand that none of us gets where we are on our own, where we treat everyone with dignity and respect, from the teachers who inspire us to the janitors who keep our schools clean. And in this America that we have been building together, we believe that the truth matters. And you don't take shortcuts to gain the system. And finally, we believe in keeping our priorities straight. See, because everybody in here knows good and well that cutting Sesame Street is no way to balance Instead, we know that we have to cut wasteful spending, but we also have to make smart investments in things like education and infrastructure for an economy that's built to last, and that's exactly what my husband stands for. That's the country he's been working to build for the last 4 years. And since the day he took office, on issue after issue, crisis after crisis, I've been there. That's what we've seen in our president. Think back to when Barack first took office. Our economy was on the brink of collapse. And you have to take my word for it. Newspapers were using words like meltdown, calamity, declaring Wall Street implodes, economy in shock. See, because the auto industry was in crisis. The economy was losing 800,000 jobs a month. And a lot of folks wondered whether we were headed for another Great Depression. See, and this is what Barack faced on day one as president. But instead of pointing fingers, instead of placing blame, your president got to work. Because he was thinking of folks like my dad, like his grandmother, and that's why he cut taxes for small businesses and working families, because he believes that here in America, teachers and firefighters should not pay higher tax rates than millionaires and billionaires. Not in America. That's not right. And that's why while some folks were willing to let the auto industry go under, with more than 1 million jobs that would have been lost, Barack had the backs of American workers. And that's why today the American auto industry is back on its feet again. And yes, while we still have a long way to go to completely rebuild this economy, there are more and more clear signs every day that we are on the road to recovery. Exports have grown by 45%. This morning, we learned that companies hired more workers in October than at any time in the last 8 months. We have now had 32 straight months of private sector job growth, nearly 5.5 million new jobs created under this president right here in the United States of America. And here, for our young people here in Hampton, when it comes to giving all of you and so many other young people the education they deserve, understand that Barack knows that, like me and like so many of you, we never could have attended college without financial aid. Never. I don't know about you, but we didn't have parents that could pay our tuition, give us money. So when it comes to student debt, Barack and I have been there. And that's why Barack doubled funding for Pell Grants and fought so hard to keep interest rates down. Because he knows how important it is for all of our young people to be able to attend college without a mountain of debt. And finally, when it comes to understanding the lives of women, look, we know that my husband will always have our back. Barack knows from personal experience what it means for a family when women aren't treated fairly in the workplace. And that's why the very first bill he signed as president was the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. And he will always fight to ensure that we as women can make our own decisions about our bodies and our health care. And let us not forget that because of the health reform he passed, insurance charge women more than men for the same coverage. Also, because of health reform, they won't be able to discriminate against any of us because we have a pre-existing condition like diabetes or asthma. Young people can stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26 years old. And here's one that gets me. If you get a life-threatening illness and you need expensive treatment, insurance companies can no longer tell you, sorry, you hit your lifetime limit and we're not paying a penny more. That is now illegal because of health reform. So, here we are, 4 days out. And I know you all are going to be out there talking to people. I know you are. And when you are talking to folks who are trying to decide who's the best person in this race to keep America moving forward, I want you to tell them a few things. Tell them what Barack has done for our economy, our health care, our education, but also tell them about how Barack ended the war in Iraq. Remind them how we all took out Osama bin Laden. Tell them how Barack is fighting hard for veterans and military families to make sure they can have in this country who will never again have to lie about who they are or be deported from the only country they've ever called home. And our service members, make sure they understand that they can be who they are to serve the country they love because of this president. But I also want you to send them to BarackObama.com/plans because there on that website they can learn about everything this man is going to do for the next 4 years to create more jobs, reduce our deficit, and do so much more. See, but here's what I think is really important for people to understand in this race, what they need to know about Barack Obama. They need to know that he understands the American dream because he's lived it. And he is fighting every day so that everyone in this country can have that same opportunity, no matter who we are or where we're from or what we look like or who we love. But I want you all to be clear that while he is very proud of all that we've achieved together, my husband is nowhere near satisfied. You know, he of all people knows that there are still too many people hurting. But as President Clinton said, it is going to take a lot longer than 4 years to finish rebuilding our economy from the deficit. But here's what I do know. Over these past 4 years, together, slowly but surely, we've been pulling ourselves out of that hole we started in. We have been moving forward and making real and meaningful change. So the question that everyone has to ask themselves is, are we going to turn around and go back to the same policies? Are we going to sit back and watch everything we've worked for and fought for to just slip away? No! Or are we going to keep moving this country forward? But in the end, the answers to these questions is on all of us now. It's all up to us. Because believe me, all of our hard work, I love you too. That's exactly why this election is so important. Because all of our hard work, you know, all the progress that we've made, understand that it is all at stake. The choices could not be clearer. And as my husband has said, this election will be even closer than the last one. That's the only guarantee. And it will all come down to what happens in just a few key battleground states, like right here in Virginia. Right here. It all counts, right here. And I want to put it in perspective for you, especially our young people, because anybody who is not voting or has not voted, understand that back in 2008, Barack won Virginia by about 235,000 votes. But that might sound like a lot, but when you break that number down across precincts, That is just 100 votes per precinct. That was the margin of victory, and trust me, in other states like North Carolina, the margin was 5 votes per precinct. So that could mean just 1 vote in your neighborhood could make the difference. Understand that a single vote in an apartment building or on a college campus can make the difference. So here's the thing, if there is anyone out here or anyone in your lives that you know who might somehow be thinking that their vote doesn't matter, if anybody you know thinks that their involvement doesn't count, that in this complex political process that ordinary folks, young people, can't possibly make a difference, I just want you to think about that number. 100 votes. There are 100 people that are not voting that we all know in this room. We know that. So I want you to think about how with just a few more hours knocking on doors or making calls, with just a few hours, we're going to get people to the polls on election day. Just a few of you in this building could swing an entire precinct for Barack Obama. And when we win enough precincts, we will win this state. And when we win this state, we'll be well on our way to putting Barack back in the White House. So here's the plan. 4 days. Everybody in here has 4 days. And we're coming on a weekend, right? So Hampton students, you know what we're planning to do this weekend? That doesn't involve getting the vote out? Postpone that. A weekend out of your lives could make the difference about your future, this country's future. So before you leave today, go find one of our folks with a clipboard. Sign up to, you see them, they're back there, they've got clipboards, sign up to volunteer for the campaign. But, better yet, for the next 4 days, talk to everyone you know. Everyone you know, you should be asking, have you voted? Are you voting? Did you vote early? Everybody you know, in every cafeteria, at every meal, every time you're picking up a French fry, ask the person with you, are they going to vote? And talk to everyone you know, your friends, your neighbors, that cousin that you haven't seen in a while. Text them. What do you all do? You text them. Call them. That classmate that's sitting next to you that you know is not going to vote. Shake them. Shake them up. Send them to vote.barackobama.com for any information they need on how and where to cast their votes. And then, once you've done that, do everything you can to make sure that you and the folks you know get to the polls on November the 6th. I mean, it's as simple as that. That is our secret plan, our deep strategy. It is you. The President of the United States is counting on you. And you will absolutely make the difference. Because if we do what we do over the next 4 days could absolutely make the difference between waking up the day after Election Day and asking ourselves, could I have done more? Yeah, what happened? Could I have done more? Or feeling the promise of 4 more years. So from now until the 6th, we need you to keep on working and struggling and pushing forward. Because here's the thing. That's how change always happens in this country. And some of us more seasoned people in life, we can tell you, young people, that we know from our history that change is hard. Shoot, life is hard. And there will be so many ups and downs and bumps and bruises and people who are going to tell you what you can't do, who you can't be. But if you're going to change anything and build a life for yourself, it requires patience and tenacity. Do you see your president, how patient and calm he is under all kinds of trials? That's what it is. Because what he knows, and what I know, and what all these folks who have lived lives know, that if we keep showing up, if we keep fighting the good fight, then we know in our hearts, we know that what we do is right. Then eventually we get there. Because we always do. That is the reason why we all have every reason to be optimistic about what lies ahead. You have to be optimistic. You have to believe in your future. Because we know that here in America, we always move forward. We don't go back. We always make progress. And in the end, that's what this is about. Hopefully that's why you came today. That's what elections are always about. Elections are always about hope. Do you hear me? Don't let anybody tell you differently. Elections are always about hope. The hope that I saw on my father's face as I crossed the stage to get my college diploma. The diploma that he took out loans to help me get. The hope Barack's grandmother felt as she cast her ballot for the grandson she loved and raised. That's the kind of hope I'm talking about. The hope of all those men and women I know are in our lives, are in your lives, who worked that extra shift, who saved and sacrificed and prayed so that you could be standing here. Barack and I would not be here if it weren't for those people. The hope that so many of us feel when we look into the eyes of our kids and our grandkids is that kind of hope. And that is why all of us are here ultimately today, because of our kids. Because we want to give all of our kids a foundation for their dreams. We want to give all of our kids opportunity worthy of their promise. Because we all in this room, I don't care what color you are, what party you are, we know that all of our kids are worthy. We want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, the belief that here in America, the greatest country on the planet, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it. So here's what I tell myself, and I hope that everyone here at Hampton, you tell yourself this every day. We cannot turn back now. We will not turn back now. Not now. Not now. We have come so far. But understand, we have so much more work to do. So let me ask you one final question. You ready for this?